before 16 have the potential to destroy a person's life, I believe that people should not date until they are 16 years old. There are several reasons why dating at a later age could be more beneficial to people. A few of those being that maturity levels are different between a 16 and a 12-year-old, violence could stem from those relationships, and dating at a young age could have an effect on a person their entire life. 16-year-olds are more mature, it seems. Maturity levels do vary from person to person, but 16-year-olds seem to have more of life experiences than a 12-year-old would that they can apply in their relationships. HealthyChildren.org was written by Dr. Eager, a pediatrician, who says, "There's an enormous difference between a 15 and 14-year-old and a 16 and 17-year-old in terms of life experiences. These experiences can help a person decipher what is good and bad in a relationship." And now, if you look at the handouts I gave you, these are different statistics of how girls and boys develop emotionally and their differences. The negative G's are where girls are better than the boys in this, and the positive G's are where the boys excel better than the females. So if you could put those away. A person may not be mature enough to date before 16, but there also seems to be violence that could factor into adolescent relationships. Violence could stem from young relationships. Something as simple as name-calling could later develop into a violent relationship. In a study, several people reported that their younger relationships had violence in them. In 2012, the BMC Public Health said that females and males both had reported violence in their relationships. For females, 24.7% had experienced violence in their relationships, 30.5% had experienced name-calling, and 25% felt pressured for sex. CNN says that 1 in every 3 females experience violence in their relationships. 18.7% of males experienced controlling behaviors by their partner. 15% experienced name-calling by their partner, and 11% felt pressured for sex. Jane Stover, a person who works with juveniles, teaching them about relationships, said that many of the kids did not know that they had the right not to be hit and didn't know that they could end a relationship. According to CDC, many do not report because they are afraid to tell their friends and family. Violence could be an outcome of young relationships, but could have lifelong effects on a person as well. These lifelong effects could last an entire lifetime. While dating at a young age could benefit a person with helping them with their romantic relationships and being able to be romantic in those relationships, it can also boost their identity. But teens are it's an age where they're very impressionable, and if something bad happens in the relationship, that can stick with them their entire life. And it seems that kids usually can be more affected by this than an adult would. And it could stick with them their entire life. And these usually seem to stem from younger relationships that happen early on, like preteens, 13-year-olds, like that sort of age. One example, this is not like for all cases, but there was a man who was involved in the Texas shooting, and he showed several signs throughout his life. He had domestic violence reports, and he was cruel to animals, and these violences stemmed all the way back to his freshman year in high school. And he later turned out to have a violence pattern throughout his entire life. Dating at a young age could possibly impact a person's life, but there are ways a person could look out for others. You can look out for your loved ones and the people that you see. You can be if you see unhealthy signs in their relationships, you can say something or try to help them out. You can take what you've learned today in this speech and you can apply it to your children and help you decide when you think it is best for them to start dating. And if you're watching others, you're most likely watching yourself, and you're looking out for yourself in relationships as well. And it's important that you can get educated in these relationships so that you can spread the news. These are all ways that a person could look out for others, and dating could be more beneficial for a person in an older age. People should wait until they are 16 to date. The reasons why waiting to date could be beneficial are people can be more mature, violence could stem from young relationships, and kids are more impressionable and could be affected by these relationships throughout their life. So, I challenge you to tell what you have learned to the people you love and change the way people view dating in today's society.
Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you. And we're going to ask that you wait on up front. No, that's fine. We ask that you wait on up front, and we're going to go ahead and pose maybe a few questions that we have either about your research or maybe just some personal opinions that you have about certain topics. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this time I open up the questioning for Abby related to her topic about not dating before you're 16. Whenever you're ready, and if Abby, if you would mind calling on who you'd like to discuss with, I'd appreciate it.
Do you think, is it your personal opinion that it's bad to date younger than 16?
Well, personally, I wasn't allowed until I was 16 with my parents, but after looking at the statistics and learning from this speech, yeah, I probably wouldn't let my kids date until 16. Carson?
Why do you think 16 is the age that shows signs is the appropriate age?
Because, well, younger, 13-year-olds, they don't have as much experience in life, and 16 is a good age to start getting into it before you're in college and getting ready to get married and stuff like that. It's a learning process. Do I know?
In your research, did you find any benefits with kids that were a little younger dating?
Yeah, they seem to be more, they could express more romance in their relationships, and it could help them in their identity.
Any others? No?
Yes.
If given the opportunity and both parents, maybe the boy's parents and the girl's parents, those who are dating, agree that it is appropriate, would you have any change in your mind whether or not they should date with being 16 or not if they have parents' approval?
You mean, what do you mean?
Well, in general, if, say, you have two kids who want to date and they're not 16 quite yet, but the parents have both talked and the kids are maybe a little bit more interested and the parents are like, yeah, I think it's okay to go ahead and let them date. Would you then change your mind about the idea of having kids date before 16 if the parents are like, yeah, I think this is a great idea. They should go ahead and date. Yeah, sure, your opinion.
I probably wouldn't let them, but, ultimately it's the parents' decision on, but I would expect them to watch the relationship and be, active in it, and, the kids be open about their relationship with their parents, so it's, really open, and there's no, secrets and bad stuff.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
Sebastian?
What's your opinion on, let's say a couple dating, one is 16 years old and the other one's 14?
14, I probably wouldn't let my kids when I'm older, but 14, maybe 15, almost 16 you probably could, but 14 is still kind of young. It's only a year after 13 and you could still learn a lot about relationships.
All right, let's give her a round of applause. Thank you so much, Abby. We appreciate your time.